Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, and welcome to day 15 of Jungle Fiver. I'm trying to stream every single day. It's going pretty well so far. But today is exciting. It is the release of Rivals of Ixalan on MTGO. Might have been yesterday, not entirely sure. However, it means that we get to play with it, which is great. So, we're going to do a friendly Swiss league, which gives us apparently 9 matches over 3 stages on our own schedule. How wonderful. So, we're going to pop into the league details. League ends in 13 weeks. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have basically this whole stage. So we've got 3 stages, 3 in each. See how we go. We might do some drafts in the meantime as well. But yeah, 24 tickets. We open some cards. What do we get? Sort by rarity. So here's our good stuff. We've got Brass's Bounty. For each land you control, make a treasure. Interesting. Direfleet Daredevil. When it enters the battlefield, exile target instant sorcery from an opponent's graveyard. May cast it this turn and may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. So that's the reverse Snapcaster Mage. Got Nezahal Primal Tide. Can't be countered, no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, discard a card. Discard 3, draw a card. Discard 3 cards, exile it, return it to the battlefield tapped. Primal Amulet. Instants and sorceries you cast cost 1 less to cast. When you cast an instant or sorcery, put a charge counter on it. If there's 4 or more charge counters, you may remove those counters and transform it. And then it copies. We've got Revel in Riches, which is our, I believe that's our Ixalan card, isn't it? Yeah, so Primal Amulet is Ixalan. Revel in Riches is also Ixalan. Whenever an opponent control dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap. Yeah, if you have 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Okay, so boop and boop. Yeah. That's a fairly straightforward way to win the game. Tetsimok, Primal Death. Put a prey counter on target creature. So that's pretty black as well. I like that. Okay, so we could be some sort of black-red deck. Let's sort by colour and see what we've got in each. So we've got some black and red cards. So we have an Orc Pirate, a couple of Direfleet things which care about pirates, so it could be pirate tribal. How are we going to actually evaluate these cards? That's the real question. White's got a lot of answers here. So we got Kinjali's Caller, Moment of Triumph, Snubhorn Sentry. So that's the Ascend mechanic. So we've got a fair amount of removal here. Legion Conquistador, Singleton Conquistador. So not a huge amount of great white, to be honest. What about our blue? Can't be blocked. Sea Legs. It's +0/+2 as long as it's a pirate. Otherwise, it gets -2, -0. Right, sure. Wow, 0/3 to draw 3 cards after paying 8 mana for the privilege. Spell Pierce, that's one of the new ones. New art, at least. It's pretty nice. And then a couple of negates. Wow. An Expel from Erasco, which is just amazing art. I love this. So no real merfolky bits here, as far as I can tell. Nothing that I think it would want to make me go that colour. Okay, so we've got a lot of these cards, but I don't think they're going to be super exciting. So let's assume that we're trying to play some sort of janky deck that gets out Revel in Riches and Brass's Bounty to win. Yeah? Right. So we want to play Tetzimok. Well, let's have a look at our early game. So we have a Goblin Pirate. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies. So I think 1/1. I think these are actually reasonable in this deck. Human Pirate. That's definitely reasonable. Shatter is more of a sideboard card. If we're doing I mean, Hill Giant is always good. 4 mana 3/3 is fine. If you attack with a creature this turn, target opponent sacrifices permanent. Again, that is a pretty decent and not terribly unplayable card, which is great. So that's a 3/3 for 3. Again, reasonable. So what about attacking pirates you control? So we definitely want that one. Dire Fleet Captain. So basically pirate lord there. So we should have pretty much pirate tribal, I guess. And then we've got, so we got 8 creatures so far. We want to really get to roughly, say, 13 creatures. So we'll bring in Tetzimok. I mean, big stompy 6/6. Anything that's an elder dinosaur, I think you just have to play. I just think that's an expensive kill spell. Destroy target creature for 2 black. Is that the level of removal that we're doing these days? Jeez. See, Moment of Craving, that is much better. That's the sort of killing I was expecting. Dinosaur Hunter. Dinosaur Hunter deals damage to a dinosaur. Destroy that creature. Again, a 2/2, pretty reasonable. Skullduggery. Skullduggery is an instant one as well. Interesting one as well. So we kind of want to be killing our opponent's creatures as best we can. So like Bombard, that's actually amazing. We should definitely be playing that. What other removal do we have? I mean, so it might be that Impale is the right thing to be playing here. Just basically hard removal. Where else are we going to do? So 15 cards. We need probably another 7 or 8 cards and then lands. So the question is, do we want to do things like, do we want to splash red? See, Marauding Looter, that seems pretty good. If you attack with a creature this turn, I mean, he doesn't have to even attack. It's just if you attacked with a creature. So maybe these two. Oh god, I forgot these as well. Oh dear. Right. Interesting. So Forsaken Sanctuary is fine. Land that we don't really care about. Primal Amulet is somewhat interesting. It certainly gets our Brass's Bounty down a little bit sooner. We are going to be casting a reasonable amount of instants or sorceries to some degree, but it's a tricky one. I'll put it in for now, tentative, but it might be that we just get rid of that. So a flying 3/3 on its own is particularly good. So I think, especially when it can get bigger. Voracious Vampire is a 2/2 menace. Not so excited by that. Draw a card and lose a life when it enters the battlefield. Now, Is card advantage good enough that that is playable? So I don't know if it's much better. I mean, the lack of stats is certainly interesting. So this is good because it's a pirate, but is it any... I mean, we basically could have an aggro-ish pirate deck here. We have a lot of pirates actually. I think we've done pretty well for pirates. Let's run it for now. It might be that our curve is not good enough. Yeah, I don't think so. That's dinosaur tribal. That's dinosaur tribal. That's dinosaur tribal. Shatter is definitely a sideboard card. Is there anything else we care about? So if we're splashing blue, which we are, do we want to do anything else in blue? I mean, it's possible we want to do something like Pirate's Price. We also do have treasure, which makes mana a little bit better. Not hugely better, but where's the early one that does treasure? Freebooter. So the freebooter is probably reasonable for getting out stuff like that. So Pirate's Prize is a maybe. Let's put it in for now. What else have we got? Water Knot. No, that's a bit too mana intensive. Sailor of Means is interesting. Let's go with that. A 1/4 is... It's not really where we want to be in terms of damage, but it's definitely where we want to be in terms of creature types. So, and then sea legs are interesting, but they don't really do a lot. I think they're just a little bit of a trap. There's no reason I would want to play a sea legs, to be perfectly honest. Dead Eye Rig Hauler. When it enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, you can bounce a creature. Might be good as a sideboard card. I'm not sure I want to play that straight away. Okay, so what else have we got here? Possibly a single Skullduggery to do some early game killing. Potentially we could do something like Cobbled Wings, give something flying. I mean, we don't really have a lot of ways to deal with flyers at the moment, which is slightly worrying, but so I think a single Skullduggery is... I mean, removal's good. We've got a reasonable amount of removal here. We'll add some basic lands, so that looks like a reasonable distribution. I'm going to -1 of each of these, and that's exactly the same. Fine. Good, we're at 40. Okay, well, I think this is our deck. I think we've got a reasonable-ish curve here. I mean, we're a little bit heavy on creatures. Potentially we could go something else with the creatures, but I'm happy. I think I'm happy with this. Shout now or forever hold your peace if you do not agree. So the Primal Amulet is definitely interesting. It's definitely an interesting one, and so I think this is our payoff. Well, Text Mock is a payoff. Revel in Riches is a payoff. I mean, that's just a we win the game card. We do. I mean, we definitely have ways of generating treasures. Let's just make sure we have all the ways of generating treasure. Is that? I think that means that they're all in our deck. Hopefully. So if I look for Ascend, for example, that's going to give me all the cards with Ascend. Yeah. So anything that mentions treasure is already in our deck, which is exactly where we want to be. And the trouble is, there's nothing really else that we really want to put in. I mean, we're not going to have another dinosaur. Lookout's dispersal is interesting because we're definitely going to be controlling a pirate. So is that better than anything? What would it take? It would take the place of possibly a skullduggery. I think that's probably. I think so our counter package is pretty strong, but it's definitely got to be better than a lot of these. So Erasca's again, a spell from Erasca is interesting. I'm not entirely sure what we do about that. I think we're probably just going to run it like this and see where we get to. All right, so let's. I think I'll probably end this video here and then put the first game in a new video. So for those on YouTube, I'll see you in a second.